What's up, deplorable ones? This is your co-commissioner, Special K. And I'm posting this video to kind of clear some things up and to kind of massively answer a whole bunch of complaints that me and my buddy Donald Trump have been getting in regards specifically to trading. So I'm just going to kind of run through some stuff real quick. First off, I love that we're receiving complaints, because if you're receiving complaints, that means that people are trying. There's effort being made to make trades. So that's a positive. Keep on doing that. Keep on trying to trade. This isn't a video to tell you to quit trading. This is a video to help you understand maybe how you can do better, right? I think that me and Trump kind of share the sentiment that we want this league to be highly competitive with competent players. Anybody can draft a surprisingly good roster, and anybody can pick up the surprisingly good players in the waiver wire. But there's another level of competition when you can have competent fantasy football players that understand how to trade and wheel and deal and adjust their rosters throughout the season. It makes the whole experience better. So in an effort to create that dream, in an effort to make that goal really happen, I'm going to go through this video and I'm going to break down the most recent trade, the trade that has ultimately led to this video, which is the one for Travis Kelce. So when you think of Travis Kelce, you automatically think of number one tight end in football 3 years in a row. And that name is huge. But the simple fact of the matter is that Jonnu Smith is right up there. So I'll break down a little bit of stuff about Jonnu Smith. So Jonnu Smith is in his fourth year in the league, so he's pretty young. And he spent the first 3 years behind a different tight end. He was never the guy. He was at least splitting snaps, if he saw the field at all, over a different tight end. That tight end is gone now. And Jonnu Smith, for the first time in his career, is the tight end in Tennessee. And all he's done with that is score above 10 points every week, with 2 of 4 games going into the 20 range. So that's a solid tight end. That's about as good as you can ask. That is Kittle and Kelce type numbers. And when you're 5 weeks into the season, patterns and tendencies that occur in a player's fantasy football scoring can be trusted. They can be relied on. So when you see a guy like Jonnu Smith, the name isn't there because he's never had the opportunity to make himself a name. Now he does, and I promise you he will end the season in the top 5. And for those that don't understand what that means, when you're looking at top-tier tight ends, you're talking about point differentials of 20, 30 points over the course of an entire season, which equates to about 2-ish points per game. That's not a whole lot. So when you trade away Travis Kelce and you get Jonnu Smith, I'm already feeling good about that. But not only did he get Jonnu Smith, he also got DJ Moore. And for those keeping track, DJ Moore has now been traded 3 times. He was traded to me by Blue Team. I traded him to Donald Trump for Chase Edmonds. And now Donald Trump has put him with Jonnu Smith in this trade for Travis Kelce. And there's a reason why he's being traded and not dropped. Because he's an asset. He wasn't an asset on my team. He wasn't an asset on Blue Team. And he wasn't an asset on Donald Trump's team outside of a trade piece. But he lands on Bison's roster as his third highest scoring wide receiver. And I would argue he's probably the second best wide receiver next to CeeDee Lamb on his roster, because the other guy is Chase Claypool, who's a rookie, who has had some really solid games, but 30 of his 70 points came in 1 week. So I think he got the second best wide receiver on his roster in this trade, plus a tight end that's comparable, if not a little bit less than Travis Kelce. But that's why he got DJ Moore, is because Jonnu Smith is supposed to be a little less than Travis Kelce. So the mutual gain for each one, Donald Trump now gets himself a high floor player. Travis Kelce is a 10-point-a-week player with the chance of hitting that 30-point mark any week. And Woke Bison gets 2 solid starting options while only giving away 1. So I love this trade. This is the poster of mutual benefit in a trade. Both sides walk away with a better roster. Both sides walk away adding depth. And both sides walk away improving their position in the league. I actually think it's going to be very interesting to see the way that Woke Bison continues to climb in our league. Right now, he's consistently, I talk crap on him all the time in the reviews about being the lowest scoring team in fantasy football. And that's his entire roster. You can get the number for if every single player was counted. Woke Bison is almost always in the bottom 2 or 3. And now, I don't think he's going to sit there. I think that you're actually going to see him start to climb up a little bit. And he might end up second or third place in his division at the end of this because of this trade. Now, he still needs a running back, but he now has options to trade for a running back. So again, this was a great trade. Kudos to Bison, and kudos to Donald Trump for getting it done. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to also point out that there was another trade that happened from Donald Trump. They're very similar, but nobody complained because Travis Kelce wasn't attached to it. And that was a trade where Donald Trump gave up Kenyon Drake and Robert Tonyan for Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor's the running back 17, 18 on the season, which is really respectable. Kenyon Drake is disappointed, but he sits in one of the highest percentages of opportunities for running backs. So the opportunity is there for Kenyon Drake. The volume of usage is there for Kenyon Drake. He just hasn't done a lot with it points-wise. But in any week, the same way when he got traded to Arizona last year, he could explode and be a 20-point-per-game guy. So he's getting rid of a potential really high-end running back for a lower tier, not going to probably get you, a 30-point week, but he is going to get you to 10, 15 points every week in Jonathan Taylor. And then Robert Tonyan, for those that don't know, is currently the 5 or 6 best tight end in football right now and is a great asset. So 2 trades that worked similarly for 2 of the lower tier teams in the league that benefits both of them. So Donald Trump improved both OK Google and Woke Bison's rosters for the long term, and while simultaneously getting the kinds of pieces that you need if you want to go on a playoff run and win a championship in fantasy football. So awesome. Good on him. And if you really are complaining about this trade, then you need to do a better job of researching a trade and understanding this is why this trade got done. I understand that Blue Team offered a 4-for-1 deal for Travis Kelce, and I'm going to go on record personally and say that 4-for-1 deals are always trash. Always. Because not only am I giving you a player that's worth 4 players, I'm now receiving 4 players, and I have to choose 3 more players to drop off of my roster that now go onto the waiver wire that people can just pick up. That's not fair. That's not good. I'd much rather you give me a 2-for-1 deal, and I'll do what Donald Trump did, where I will deal 2 people 2-for-1 deals, rather than just dropping players and not getting anything in return for it. So, I love that we're trading. I love that we're trying, but if you're having trouble getting trades done, you have to think about why. And it's your responsibility. You guys, we get complaints every week from people saying, oh, this guy doesn't know how to trade. Oh, well, this guy, he keeps on sending me crappy requests. Sir, I sent this guy a great trade offer and he declined it. Well, if that's happening, rather than just coming to me and complaining, because I'm not going to do anything. I mean, that person can do whatever the hell he wants. If he doesn't like your trade, he doesn't like your trade, whatever. I'm not going to kick him out of the league because he didn't accept your trade offer. Instead, what you need to do is be like, okay, why didn't I accept this trade? And then tell that person. Communicate with that person. Communication's key in everything. Communicate with that person. Tell him, hey, I didn't like this trade because I think that player X isn't as valuable as player Y. But if you give me player Z for player Y, I would be more inclined to accept this. All right? Communicate. Go back and forth. And that's why I tell people, email. Send an email instead of doing it through the system where you got to accept and decline and blah, 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 blah. Send an email. Have a conversation where you guys can each go through your rosters and say, well, I would be willing to give you this player for that player and blah, blah, blah. Do it through email. That way, when you send that trade in, you can just, boom, get it done and get it done well. And you can do all of the long form communication through email. It also helps you establish friendships. That's how me and Donald Trump became friends. It's because we wanted to trade, and so we started talking, and then it turned into talking shit on people in the league that we didn't like, and then it turned into, hey man, we should create our own separate league, and then it turned into, hey man, I'm not going to be the commissioner for the league anymore because I was voted off the island, so I want to be commissioner of a new league. Let's make this happen. And we were going to be in 2 leagues this year, one that we created, and then we were just going to participate in a different one. But that one got shut down because the new commissioner, the guy that said he was going to make football great again, decided he didn't want to do it. Sorry, I'm really salty about it. I'll be talking about it all season long because the guy who was supposed to get that league off the ground is playing in our league this year, and yeah, I'm going to talk mad trash on it because I'm super pissed off that I don't get to play in that league. But anyway, again, trading is hard. It's the hardest thing to do in fantasy, and it requires a lot of research, and it requires a lot of communication between owners. And if you can't do that, then you probably shouldn't be trading. But honestly, you should be able to do that. You should want to do that because chances are you're going to be playing fantasy football with this group of guys for the most part for the foreseeable future. This league ain't going anywhere, and we want to retain as many owners as we possibly can. So these are people you're going to be playing fantasy football with every year for as long as you want to play in it and as long as you're a respectable owner. So why wouldn't you want to communicate with people? Why wouldn't you want to try and make that work? So this is kind of a frustration dumping on my part because I saw a great trade happen and people crapped all over it, and that's not good. You should be wanting trades like that to happen. You should be encouraging trades like that to happen, and you should want trades like that to happen to you. And we receive so many complaints about people that don't know how to trade that when I see a good trade happen and people dump on it, it makes me very, very, very concerned about why you can't get trades done. It's because you obviously aren't doing a good job. And this, I'm not targeting you, blue team specifically. I've mentioned you a couple times. I'm not targeting you in this because me and you had a great trade right there at the beginning of the season that a lot of people dumped on. A lot of people dumped on that trade. And when you look at it in the end, you got a 20-point per week scorer in Tyreek Hill. I got a solid running back option in James Robinson. And I traded away DJ Moore for Chase Edmonds, and you dropped Brandon Cooks, which might have been a bad idea now that Bill O'Brien's out of Houston. Brandon Cooks could be a good wide receiver for you. So in the end, that trade worked out pretty well. I think that you're not mad about that trade. I'm definitely not mad about that trade. But people dumped on it because it was a big name in Tyreek Hill and a rookie running back and Brandon Cooks. And then DJ Moore. So in the end, those are the trades. Oftentimes the controversial ones end up being the best ones. So thank you for listening to my rant. I'm sorry if it's running a little bit long. I just wanted to make sure that everybody out there that's complaining about trades understands that, one, it's not my fault you can't get trades done. And two, if you want to get trades done, it takes more legwork than just throwing names out and hoping they stick. It takes research. It takes communication. It takes effort from two people. So do a better job. Communicate more. Put yourself out there. Make trades happen. And don't complain to the commissioner when your shitty trade offers don't get accepted. I'm not going to be doing the review this week. Spencer Strasmore is going to take that responsibility off my hands. So thank you to him, and I will be seeing you in a couple weeks. Good luck on Sunday.